we are going to talk about saying no a little bit more often, because it does tend to be something that as an industry we're a little bit crap at. So quite often when we first start teaching, we say yes to everything. Even if the class is an hour away, we're like, yep, I'll teach that. Because we just need the experience and we need to put ourselves out there. We're getting paid to go, we're getting paid to kind of learn on the job and start being, actually, no, when I teach it like that, it doesn't work. Or when I do this, it doesn't work. Or this move they can't follow. We get paid and we're learning on the job. And that is great. So when I started out as well, I said yes to everything, especially because I wanted to go full time with it. So I said yes to everything. I packed out all my evenings. Mainly it was dance then, to be honest. But I packed out all my evenings with dance classes and stuff. And then I went part-time at work and then filtered in after school classes and teachery classes and stuff in that bit at like 3 p.m, 4 p.m. And then that was started to be like Zumba and dance fitness stuff that I was adding in there. And obviously Saturday mornings, because that was a great time to pick up classes. So you can start phasing in these things and you get to a point where you're like absolutely maxed out and you can't do anything without quitting more time from your day job, say for example, or not. You might not want to do that. But let's say you do, then you're maxed out, then you have to go full hog and quit that. So then you're adding in your morning classes and stuff as well, and now everything is everywhere, and it feels a bit much because it's from morning to night. Because you do have a gap in the middle of the day, but let's be honest, that feels pretty shit, because all you're doing is eat, watch half an hour of television, and then start learning your choreography again for later. So you don't actually have any time to do anything, because all you're doing is washing and eating, and then getting ready to do it all again in the evening section. So at some point, we then maybe have to like think about rearranging our timetable. We are in demand, we're starting to get asked to do things. We still have that mindset as, oh, we don't know where our next paycheck's coming from. So maybe we should just say yes to everything. And then we say yes to it even though we don't want to do it. And then we're so tired and knackered and pissed off at ourselves that we did it, that whilst we're teaching it, we want to sob. And we have all been there. On the car in the way there, we want to cry because we're feeling so negative about going. And don't get me wrong, I know you always put a show on. Like, I do this job, I know. I'm not saying for a minute you don't show up and do your best, because I 100% know that you do. But on the way there, we feel sad. And we don't want to go, and maybe feel a bit tantrumy because we don't want to do the class of the first place, and then we booked it. And actually, we've got no one really to blame apart from ourselves, because we said yes to something that we didn't want to do. Now, we need to weigh up when stuff is offered to us and we're at this time in our life where we can sort of pick and choose. We need to recognise that a little bit. And a very wise woman said to me one time, if it doesn't bring you joy and it doesn't bring you money, why are you doing it? So that is what I ask myself now. Some stuff I would do for free because it just brings me so much joy. Some stuff I would do with zero joy because it pays very well. And that is the honest truth. If something comes up and it's at a time I really don't want to do it, but they're like, it's 500 quid, I'm like, yeah, right, I'll do it. Do anything for £500 apparently. So like that works out would be, even though it was inconvenient, I didn't want to do it and potentially meant I had to move other stuff or something, but it paid very well, then I would be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that, that's fine. Because it's worth it. Then you have stuff, maybe joy, maybe you want to do a fundraiser, or you're going to give up your time for something, or you're willing to help out a local organisation or something for a fun day, I don't know. But you're willing to give up your time for free because it brings you joy to help those people. And that is also great, because joy is really important. The issue comes is when the thing is in the middle and it brings us no joy and no money, or virtually no money, and we still say yes to it in case we're missing out on potential financial remuneration later on down the line. Stuff changes in our industry. We get binned off from classes all the time when timetables change or whatever. So we kind of like, oh yeah, but we just say yes to it, because what if we drop another class? But you don't want to teach on a Friday night or whatever it is. You don't want to do it anyway, but you still say yes to it in case you're going to miss out on that money. And God, I've done it so many times. And we do need to take a little reality check when it's like on that situation. You might find that you are loving teaching a certain class at a certain time, even though it's kind of poorly timetabled or later than you want or earlier than you want, but you love it, so it's worth it, or it's paid well, so it's worth it. But there'll be other times when it's in a timetable that you don't want to do, which is very realistic because a lot of the stuff offered to us is either very early or very late, or things that we can make money from are either very early, very late, or at inconvenient times on the weekend. However, when it gets to the point where that thing makes you feel so sad that you're going to cry on the way there, or you're so exhausted because of the time slots that you no longer want to do it, don't do it. Just learn to say, actually, this timetable is not working for me anymore. I just wanted to let you know, I really love the class. I love the people. I'm so grateful for it. But I can't get up at 4:45 anymore to teach that class. Just can't cope. And that's okay. It's all right for us to do that. Likewise, if someone emails us and says, I'd really like you to come into my business and do a class, but we don't really have a budget. You're going to weigh it up and be like, does it sound like it could bring me loads of leads for my community fitness classes, because I have those and I would like more people in it? Is there the ability for me to fly in there? Is it close enough? Where do most of their employees live? Because if they don't live local, there's definitely no point giving up your time. And then work out if that could be beneficial. But the vast majority of businesses have the budget to pay you more, or should have, because they will have things for a health and wellness budget if they're a larger company that they have allocated to that, and they have a spend per year that they must spend on their employees' health and wellness. So when you quote for it, don't underquote yourself. So you're not going to quote your gym rate to a large company who are asking you to come in to do an hour's class. That's not the same thing, because this is for a corporation. Gyms would pay you more, probably, if they could. A lot of gyms don't make a lot of money, or they have rules from head office to ensure budgeting. So a lot of the time, some gyms are unable to pay more than the rate that they have, which is up to them. There's nothing we can do about that. We just have the choice about whether we are happy to work for that amount or not. But when you go to quote for someone else, you're not going to quote the same rate as that you would get from a regular class for like a gym or a dance studio or whatever. It's not the same thing. You're going to quote because it's an event and you are going in to do that event. So we need to make sure that, one, we're not underquoting ourselves and doing ourselves out of a job, in terms of if we say, oh yeah, well, I'll do that for a £12, and you go in and do it and they've got 50 people in there and it's a huge company, you've really mugged yourself off, right? So, and it was probably a lot of effort for you to get there. In terms of travel, in terms of playlist preparation, maybe you've had to bring your own equipment with you. You just need to factor all of that in. So if someone is coming to you and offering you a job that you do not want to do, maybe because of the timing or because of the money or whatever, it's okay to say no. It's just that we have this massive thing where we feel like potentially we could be missing out later on down the line if something else drops or whatever. But that could happen in any time for us, And actually, there's no point, this is my personal view, there is absolutely no point being self-employed and in control of your own stuff and working for yourself and doing this job, which does have antisocial hours and can be hard to make money in. There is no point doing this job if I don't enjoy it, because otherwise I'd just get a job in an office. This is the thing, like, you know, I could have stayed working where I was working and got paid, you know, the same amount of money with less hours for doing working in fitness, but I didn't want to. I chose something that I loved with all my heart to do, so therefore I want it to feel how I want it to feel. And part of that comes from creating a timetable that I enjoy, and part of it comes from earning money that I'm worth, and that makes me feel valued and makes me feel that I am doing the right thing. Now, if you are feeling undervalued or overstretched, you won't enjoy it as much. And let's be honest, we do need to enjoy this job because we are constantly required to put ourselves on show up and be smiley and happy and all that kind of stuff and really interact with our people. That's our job, and that's the bare minimum, right? Like, to be there and be like heavily invested in everyone. And to do that, we need to feel like we are appreciating ourselves and enjoying our job. That's important. Can't do it all the time. Can't always be happy and enjoying it. I know we fake it all the time, but we can't always be fully happy in our hearts because we'll have bad days like everyone else. But overall, it needs to kind of feel enjoyable, right? Otherwise, it's a bit of a tough gig to do if you're not actually having fun while you're doing it. And some things are worth, like my community classes are in the evening because they are the people that I want to work with. And I love teaching them. Like, I love them, I love them, I love them. I love their energy, I love their, oh my God, work's done. Let's get in here, let's get dancing vibe. I love that. So I will happily give up 2 of my evenings a week to do that because I want to be with them. However, I no longer want to work 4 nights a week doing it. I want to be able to go out and see people, and I also want to be able to go home and sit on my own. So there's a balance to be had. And that was a really hard decision for me to drop my first night, which was a Wednesday that I dropped. That felt great. I was like, sure, I'm still really tired. Still finding it very tricky to balance all 3 of these evenings. And actually, one of my evenings doesn't make that much money, and I could make more by blocking in my PT on that afternoon, which I can't do because I need to prep for my evening classes, plural. And so in the end, that's what I did. I said, I'm going to be finishing on a Monday in these amount of weeks. I will have PT slots this time. And all of it meant that I finished at 6:30 instead of 9:30. And so I could go home and have dinner on Mondays. Sometimes I go out with my friends, but a lot of the time it's just my clear my head night. So go home, get everything organised, just kind of summarise what's been going on that day, and like do little bits of social media on my phone while I'm watching Married at First Sight. And it feels great just to have that sort of 3 hours on my own, being calm and just getting my life together. So there are ways that you can kind of shift things in and shift things around to be able to do that. And we do need to also, I don't like to say this because it makes me feel cross at myself, but we do need to factor in our age a little bit as well, or I do anyway, because I am in a lot more discomfort with my back than I was 6 years ago, for example. A lot more. It's not awful yet, but I feel that I need to look after myself a bit more. So for me, teaching 12 hours participative classes or 25 hours participative, which is what I started doing when I was like 26, 27, like I can do it now. I couldn't do it. My back hurts too much. It would be too uncomfortable. Everything would ache. So I need to have that in my head that I need to be prepping for that and for their eventual, if I do need to change stuff or I do need to teach lower impact. So part of what comes with that is knowing what jobs I want to say no to because they don't pay me enough or they don't bring enough joy. And to be a little bit militant with that, because actually I need to look after my body. Like, I'm not structurally sound. For anyone that doesn't know, I've got scoliosis, so it makes life a little bit trickier with this job. But that doesn't mean that I can't do it. It just means I need to be a bit thoughtful of looking after myself as a person as I'm getting older. So for me, I guess that balance of joy versus money is a lot more intense because it's joy versus money and my body is in the middle. So I sort of need to balance it all. I feel like I've talked long enough about this, but just know that sometimes you will have to say no to jobs and it's okay. And I know you're going to overthink it up until the point you do it, but you'll feel very relieved when that happens. It's like handing in a notice somewhere. You feel so panicky about it. The minute it's done, you're like, oh my God, so relieved. That's great. There is always other work, and you can create work yourself if you're that way inclined. Community fitness is great. You can do, different types of classes. You can look at different venues. You might be able to look at doing more corporate stuff, more bespoke classes for people. There is work in places. We just have to have an open mind and have an idea of what we want in terms of remuneration, whether that is joy or money, so that we feel valued and so that we are able to do this job for a really long time. Okay, I'm going to stop talking, but say no more. And say yes sometimes as well to great opportunities. Don't be resistant to change. It's great to have doors open for us. Sometimes they're not doors we want to walk through, but it's still very lovely to receive that as an offer, but it just might not be what we want at that time. That's absolutely fine. We don't have to make excuses, but it's just not right for us. So we can say thank you and move on without stressing about it. It's like it's bothering me. Right, I will see you again soon. I hope that helped, and happy whatever day it is for you.